Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we are taking a look at the Boss Fight Studios Epic Hacks Red Sonja. Let's look at the packaging real quick. Here's the figure, window, head sculpts, some of the accessories you see that she comes with. We'll take a look at those here in a minute. Of course, Red Sonja, render, she devil with a sword. One side, it says again, Red Sonja. Other side, it says Epic Hacks, sold separately, compatible with the figures, includes 1 out of 3 collectible inserts. Here's the back, of course, the render again with your accessories. Says over 30 pieces. Talks about the insert. Of course, the top it says Red Sonja, and here it has a little bio. I'm not going to read that because I don't want to waste your time. But if you wish to read it, you can pause here and zoom in. But that's not what you're here for. Let's get her out of the box and see what she's all about. Before we cut the figure out of the tray, let's look at the accessories. She comes with 3 heads, shoulder piece, alternate chain part, even the straps around her thighs, those can come off. She's got another upper chest piece well that you can swap out. She's got a battle axe, a knife, a sword, a sheath for the sword, extra belt, arm bracers for the biceps, another wrist bracer, another alternate part for gloves, fisted hands, open hands, and of course the hands that she comes with is gripping hands. Also, a very similar looking McFarlane figure stand. Not a bad batch of accessories. I mean, again, this comes with 30 pieces to do a bunch of different variety of looks. So, yeah, pretty good. Now that we have the figure out of the packaging complete, she looks great. For first impressions, she looks very comic accurate to the source material that I've read of Red Sonja. But let's look at the much finer details like the head sculpt. We will look at this one. Let me get it to focus. I mean, that's Red Sonja. There's no doubt about the printing, the placement of the paint. Everything on here is very, very nice. My copy has a little, I think everybody else has had this issue. She's a little flimsy in the torso section. You can see her just barely touching her. It's like, yeah, but I think that's an issue across the board with everybody's copy. But all the other joints surprisingly are nice and sturdy. I don't have any problems with her. But let's take a closer look at her attire. Of course, it is the classic chainmail, just with, added gloves and added piece. Like I said, you get an alternate part for this, you get an alternate part for the gloves. You could take these off right here as well. You get an alternate piece for this. The only thing you don't get a change of, excuse me for my stand here, is the boots. The boots remain as they are. And you don't get any bare feet. So if you don't want to you can't really make her barefooted. Like there are other companies who are doing bare feet with their figures, but I don't know, unless you've got a sort of obsession with people's feet, I don't know why you'd want that. But again, she looks really great. I don't have any nitpicks in terms of the sculpt and paint look when it comes to this Red Sonja. And I know Loose Collector, they did one a while back, but that one is sold out and it costed more than what this one does. Now I also know that Boss Fight Studios is doing 2 other variants of this one. They're doing one where she's in a red and gold armor, and then they're doing another one where she's going to be in black and white, but with the red hair. So it's more like a comic book adaptation or a cover. And then they're supposed to be doing like a steampunk version where she's dressed like in a way like a pirate, not a pirate, but like like a scavenger or something like that with goggles and all. I could have gotten that one, but I want to go with classic first. And again, for being my first Red Sonja, the first impressions, I like we see her. Articulation is good, other than this little flimsy part on the torso. I'll have to fix that, but that is not a big deal breaker for me. But anyway, enough looking at her sculpted paint. Let's get into some comparisons. So here we have her alongside the Super 7 Conan the Barbarian War Paint Conan and one of the Four Horsemen Mythic Legions Gladiators. Well, we have come to the end of the review where I give my final thoughts. So, what are they? For my first ever Red Sonja figure, as I said, she's really good. Could things be better in terms of the way she moves, the way she articulates, the flimsiness of some joints? Yes. Are there flaws with this figure? Absolutely. No figure is perfect. We know this. No figure is. This one's no exception. But I am, like I said, I am not upset with purchasing this figure. I remember though when Loose Collector did theirs, I was excited. But because she was 7 inches tall and was way too tall, I didn't want her. Then I heard about this one. I said, okay, I'm gonna pick this one up. Since she'll scale with others. She will scale with other 6-inch figures like Marvel Legends, no question. But what are things to watch out for? The flimsiness of the torso, if you have methods to fix that, you can do that pretty easily. Her elbows, her shoulders, every other joint is good. I did discover this thigh right here, though, is a little loose compared to this one. So that's another joint I'm going to have to fix. But again, it's not a problem. I do like the amount of accessories you get where you can do multiple different looks of Red Sonja you want. It would have been kind of cool though if they included a helmet with her, but that's neither here nor there. The hand sculpts are really well done. One of them I will mention with the earrings, the lips, the printed lipstick is lowered down a little bit, so it's not like complete. That kind of sucks. But it's again not much of a deal breaker for me, especially with the price I got for this figure right here. So do I recommend her? Absolutely. If you have her, what are your thoughts about her? Or if you've skipped on her, let me know down in the comment section why. I'd love to have a conversation. I always enjoy when people comment on this stuff and we have conversations down below. But as always, everyone, take care.
Plastic Man, the one, the original Elastic Man, always in great shape for the shape he's in, the fantastic Plastic Man.